everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and to anyone that is new here, hello, my name is Christy. I am a personal stylist that helps women rise to their highest and best selves, and I'm super excited to have you here. Now today is going to be a more informal video. I'm hanging out in my living room right now, actually, because it's a very gloomy day today and I'm working from home, but I'm getting ready to go to some meetings for this afternoon, and thought I would show you how I'm doing my makeup because it's a question that's been coming up pretty often with all of you in the comments over the past few videos that I've been doing. So I thought I would just show you an updated makeup routine, just show you what I've kind of been up to in terms of makeup. Some things have definitely changed, others are the same. So grab a cup of coffee and let's dive in. Now I put my hair up in like a little bun, which is my go-to when we're on day number 3 hair, because my hair's thin, so it shows when it's like kind of greasy. Now, just to preface, in case any of you are new and have not watched a getting ready with me video before, because I have melasma, which you can see up here, and in various like spots on my face, I do use foundation, and some of you will think it's a lot of makeup that I put on, others of you will think it's no big deal. So just, if you are trying to follow something like this as inspiration, just use what you need. Don't put on all the makeup if you don't feel like you need it, obviously. But I definitely put on a little bit more, especially when I'm going on to meetings, just because I want to look presentable, and skin is definitely like my one area where I feel a little bit more self-conscious. So to start off, I always put SPF on my face, always. So I've already done that. And then I'm now going to add this makeup primer, which is the Skindinavia setting spray. Or sorry, setting primer, my apologies. I love this stuff. The next thing I like to add to my skincare, which actually I had abandoned for a little while, but we're jumping back on the train, is the By Terry. This is their Cellular Rose Brightening CC Serum. So because I'm so fair, I get color number 1, I believe number 2 or 3. I can't remember, that has more of a warm base, just makes me look orange. So I end up going for this one. I take 2 pumps of it and I just rub it between my fingers and just rub it into my skin. I just like that it gives a bit of a dewy glow to my skin. I really enjoy it. I'm not actually quite sure why I had gotten away from using this product before, unless the only thing I can think of, because I do actually think it was last winter when I used it last. It might just be because when I do get a tan in the summertime, it might just be, maybe it ends up being a bit too white for me. I'm not really sure. So anyway, I love that. And then on that sort of brightening note, I also use the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless or Hollywood Flawless filter, which is a very similar product, has brightening properties in it, but I also put it underneath my eyes just because the hollows of my eyes are starting to deepen a little bit, and I'm just finding it needs a little bit more than just concealer. So I like to press that in just with a sponge. I think this is called the Super Sponge. I don't know, Tati reviewed it on her channel about a year ago. And a lot of you were asking me to update you on what I thought of this product. And oh my God, this has completely replaced the Beauty Blender for me. I have had this for a year and it is still going strong. It's so easy to clean. It is a dream to blend in my makeup. I could scream about it. I love it so much. So I highly recommend. All right, and next up for my foundation is something a little bit new. I don't think I was using this last time. I have been using the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Wear Foundation. I use the color 400, which is Pearl. It's a sort of like warm to neutral base color, because again, with my winter coloring right now, I do have a warm undertone, but I am so fair, so it's hard to tell that sometimes. So some foundations get a little too yellow for me. So what I like to do is just kind of dot it all around my face. And then, because I'm sitting at my living room table, I'm just gonna hold a mirror up and press it in this way. But actually, I'm really impressed with this foundation. I find that it holds up really well all day long. It doesn't, I don't know, I don't find it separates during the day, regardless of like what I use for SPF or what, like anything underneath. I really like it. And it gives a really nice coverage. I would say it's medium, but you can build it to full. And overall, I really like the finish. It's not overly matte, but it's not super dewy either. To me, I'm really enjoying it. I really love this foundation. It's been about at least 7 or 8 months, I would say, that I've been using this one. Oh, maybe that's exaggerating, but pretty close. And I always have to like try and get my beauty blender in a little bit more, or not my beauty blender, the super sponge or whatever it's called, closer to the creases of my nose, because I get a lot of creasing in that area otherwise. But I like it because I don't have to blend it down my neck. A lot of you ask that, like how I avoid getting makeup on my clothing. And honestly, like you should get a foundation that matches your skin. That's a big part of it. Unless I'm wearing something that happens to be darker, which I try and avoid, then maybe I'll blend my foundation down my neck, but I try not to. And then other than that, what I will do is take a silk scarf and put it over my face. So if I do have something to pull over my face after I get changed, it won't like color the collar of whatever I'm wearing. But yeah, I really, really like this. Okay, next on the docket is the Makeup Forever Full Coverage Concealer. This I have had for quite some time. I love it because it's not only waterproof, which actually normally I don't use a lot of waterproof products, but this one is pretty thick. So I just like to coat over my melasma a little bit more just because it does peer through the foundation, and I could do another coat of foundation, but I would rather spot with concealer a little bit more. I don't think I ever completely cover the melasma, to be quite frank with you, but I try and camouflage it best that I can. It's definitely a lot better since I started seeing Margaret for facials, because she's been helping me with it over the past year or so, which is an investment in itself. But honestly, like I said, my skin's just such a sore spot for me, so I feel like the investment's worth it. But I do add extra concealer there just because I do require it. So that's a little bit better. Actually, I might put a little bit more. And also because I have some friends down here, I'm just going to put it on some of my blemishes on the bottom as well. Okay, I think that's pretty good for the concealer situation up top. Now for under my eyes, because my God, I've got some dark under eye circles. I use the matching L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. This color is number 330 in Ivory. Whoops, that's upside down. So this one, I don't go nuts with. I used to do like the whole contouring thing, like with highlighter, like and concealer and all that kind of stuff, but I don't do it as much anymore. So I like to just take a couple swipes under the eye, and I might add a little bit more because it's just a bit brighter up here. I don't think it was bad. And maybe a bit by my nose. Because I always find, I don't know if you guys are like that, but I always find that around my nose gets a little bit darker. So I'm gonna blend that in first. And then I'm just gonna take the sponge and I'm gonna press it into the corner of my eye. And I like to drag my concealer over my lid just rather than getting an eyeshadow base or primer. I just figure it's easier to put the concealer on my lid and have that act like a primer instead. I just realized I'd forgotten powder, so I had to run up and grab it. Sorry if the lighting's changing on you guys, but I'm hoping the natural light will carry us through. Okay, so I put the concealer under my eye, which looks so much better already. And then I'm gonna take the Laura Mercier Secret Under Eye Brightening Powder. I love this stuff because it's so finely milled. So when you go to set the makeup under your eye, it doesn't crease as badly. Excuse this like ratchet looking brush, I need to clean it. But I just like to tap off any excess powder and then put it under my eye and on top of my lid as well, just so that there's not any creasing. So again, I'm just setting that area. Okay, now once the concealer and all that's on, I'm gonna actually move on to another face product that I can't remember if I talked to you guys about last time or not, but for bronzer, I've been using this Milk bronzer product. I really like it. It's a matte creamy based bronzer. So you open it, looks like this. But what I like about creamier based products is that especially as your like skin's maturing, it doesn't crease as much. And to me, it looks a little bit more natural. Oops, as I get like chunky bits coming off there. That normally does not happen. Anyway, but I just like to line around my face with them. And I don't know, some of you will think that's generous, others may not think it's much of anything. But what I like to do is take my sponge and I like to just press it into my skin along the contours of my face, or around the frame of my face, I guess you can say, just to give a little bit of warmth to my skin. So I just kind of press it back into my hairline a little bit. So this one to me feels a little bit nicer, and I like that because it's a cream-based product, it just presses into the skin a little bit more naturally. I really like this. And I've had that matte bronzer product the same one for well over a year, and I haven't gotten anywhere close to finishing it yet, which is great. So it's a good bang for your buck. And if you're someone that doesn't need any foundation to begin with, I mean, honestly, you could just probably add a little bit to your face and just have a beautiful glow from it during the daytime. I really like it. Like, doesn't that look, I think that looks natural. Pretty good. I'm gonna add a little bit more up here. That's what I like about cream-based products is you can always add a little bit more if you feel you need to. So I like to bring it down to about the outer corner of my eye. And yeah, I really like this product. I like really like it. Some days I'll add like a little bit of bronzing powder on top of it, and some days I don't. We'll see how I feel once we get the rest of the makeup situation on. But for now, it feels pretty good. Okay, next up for me is eyeshadow. So my eyeshadow I've been keeping really simple as of late. I've been focusing more on lip products lately. I'm not sure why, just kind of what I've been into. So I have actually been using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. If you've not seen it before, it is absolutely beautiful, and you can see it's a little well loved on my end, especially this color, which is what we'll be using today. So I just love all the berry colors, the warm tans, like it's really lovely. This palette I actually travel with quite a lot. I really enjoy it. So I'm going to take a larger fluffy brush. This one is from Sigma. It is their E40, and I'm going to be dipping in, to this very well loved color up here that's called Golden Ochre. And for this color, I'm actually just going to put it into my crease because I have a hooded eye. So I always start on the outer corner. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I kind of sweep it into my crease, which for me is the socket of my eye because I have hooded eyes. And I try and drag it outward towards the outer part of my brow bone. And then I just like to sweep it back and forth. Now this shadow is not very dark, which I actually quite like because if I am gonna wear a more bold lip, to me it just looks a little bit more natural. Not that you can't put a bold lipstick with bold eyeshadow. I just think it's a little bit nicer to have a little bit more of a balance. So I just like to sweep that in on my lid. It just defines it a little bit more. Okay, so once I have that tiny bit of definition, I like to go back in with a slightly smaller brush. So again, this is a Sigma. This is an E25, and apologies, it's kind of grody because I need to clean it. But you can see it's slightly smaller and more tapered, like it's not quite as thick. And I'm actually going to dip it into two colors. So I like to dip it into Buen Fresco, this like soft, like dusty purple color, if you will. And I mix it in with burnt orange. And I like to just further define the crease area with that. So I start on the outer corner and I just kind of pat the color on here. I don't know if that'll show for you guys or not because it's super slight. But from there, I just rub it into the outer corner of my crease and then back in that V. So I'll deepen it until I have something that I feel comfortable with. It's not normally too dark, but that's what I've been enjoying as of late in terms of eyeshadow color. It's really simple. Okay, so you can see that's defined the eye just a little bit, and all I'll otherwise do for my eyes is take these two sort of sparkly colors here. So this is Primavera and Vermeer, and I like to grab a little bit of both on my ring finger, and then all I do is I press it on the inner corner to about the middle of the lid, just for a little bit of pop on a little bit, like a slight little bit of glimmer and sheen. I don't know, I really like that. Okay, so once that eye is done, what I do next is go in with my lash serum. You guys have seen this a million times. This is Eye Envy. It is just a lash conditioning serum that I put on my lashes. I've been using it now for about 3 years, which is what makes my lashes a little bit longer. But now that they've reached their ideal length, if you will, I only apply this every couple of days, whereas initially you have to use it every 3 days to make it have your lashes grow. But I love this stuff. If they ever stop making it, I will be very sad. And then I go in with my L'Oreal Voluminous. This is the primer base for mascara. I'm obsessed with this stuff. And I just try and get it at the root of my lashes and then almost blink into the wand, if that makes sense, just so there's nice full coating on the lashes. After that, I go in with the mascara, Voluminous. I use Blackest Black, just because I want my lashes to pop, as I feel every woman does. So what I do is I go and put one mascara coat on either eye, and then I will go back in for a second coat of mascara. I just find that the second coat makes the lashes pop a little bit more. So I always do 2 coats of mascara in addition to that one original base. But I think my favorite thing out of makeup is always mascara. It just makes such a difference. By the way, on a separate side note, does anyone know of a really good hair gel for like flyaways? Because mine, when my hair's up, drive me crazy. Okay, so mascara's on. I am gonna do a little bit of like powder bronzer, like just the smallest amount. So I'm going to use this Annabelle Biggie bronzer, which you can see is very well loved. It is a matte bronzer. And I'm just going to use a MAC brush. This one is so old, like the number's completely off. I don't know what it is anymore. But what I like to do is just rub it into sort of the temples and just do a light sweep over the face. So nothing crazy. I just like a little bit more color because let's be real, I'm otherwise Casper, your neighborhood friendly ghost. And then once I put a bit of bronzer on, I'm going in with the Too Faced Love Hangover Blush. I don't even know that they make this one anymore, but I've had this forever. And it's a travel size, which I love because I bring it with me every time I travel. So I'm just gonna put this on a brush, and I'm going to just lightly add some to the apple of my cheek just for a little bit of color. I know some people don't like blush and they skip it, but I don't know. I really, really like it. I'm just putting my little bit of foundation, there you go, over top of that. All right, and then final face product before I add lipstick is highlight. So my ride or die for quite some time has been the Becca, this is the Shimmering Skin Perfector in Vanilla Quartz. It's a really, really light, beautiful, like golden kind of vanilla color. I just think it's so pretty. And because again, I've got warm skin and I'm fair, I just think it's a really nice complement in particular. Oh, how pretty is that? To my skin color and skin tone. So I always add just a little bit of highlight. I just love it. Now you guys will probably notice, oh my God, I have a hair like hanging out up here. I don't really set my foundation or anything just because I like everything to be left fairly natural looking on the skin. I don't like to block it out with a lot of powder, like other than under my eyes and that little bit of bronzer that I applied. But actually the nice thing about the L'Oreal foundation is I find it actually dries down quite nicely on the skin. So for me personally, I don't have oily skin, so I'm realizing this will be different for everybody, but for me personally, I find it dries down quite nice and I don't actually need the powder. If you have oily skin, of course, that might differ for you, but I've found that I can forego it, which is quite nice. So I'm going to spray my skin with the Scandinavia Bridal Finishing Setting Spray. This is by far my favorite. And then, oh, you know what? I just realized I forgot my brows. Now, in all honesty, I say that loosely because my brows are microbladed. Best decision ever. And they are in need of a bit of a touch up, but not anything crazy. So I'm just gonna fill in some of the areas where it's become a little sparse, which is more just on the bottom than anything else. But oh my God, I was the overplucker in my teens, so I had nothing left for brows. And waking up with your brows done, especially when you first have it, like the microblading done, is so nice. So once that is on, we are just going to jump into lipstick. So I'm going to use one that I've been using for, again, a lot of time that you guys constantly ask about in my videos. And that is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is or Tilbury, am I pronouncing your name wrong? This is the color Hot Emily. I love it. It is a very warm, lovely coral. And then I normally put this on with a little bit of gloss. Oh, I love that color. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, such a beautiful color. And I loved wearing this color through fall and winter anyway, but for spring, oh my God, like I'm just in the mood for color, and this is everything. So I like to wear this color with the NYX Butter Gloss over top. The color I am using is Creme Brulee. The only reason I really put on gloss is just because I personally have textured lips, especially in the wintertime when they do get a bit dry. So I just like to put a little of that over top just for a little bit more of a plump look on the lips. And I personally like more of a glossy lip better. I know a lot of people love their matte lip. That's just not me. I used to be that way, and I have phases with it, but at the moment we're kind of off that train for the time being, if you will. But that's it, guys. This is my makeup routine currently that you guys have been asking me about. Anyway, my angels, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If any of you want a free wardrobe basics checklist, then head on over to my website. When you sign up for my VIP newsletter, you will be emailed it directly for you to use and check your own closet out with. And stay tuned because I have some really fun wardrobe essential videos coming up for spring and some really cool things that I have planned for you guys. So don't forget to hit that little red subscribe button if you enjoyed this video and want to see more. And other than that, my angels, I love you guys to the moon and back, and I will see you again next week. Bye, guys.